Well, I don't know what CLMP did differently in Manchester than here, but presuming all things being equal, that their property would also be in Vernon increased in value as it was there. It's just hard. I'm not close to it. I trust you are. So I was expecting our grand list total results at the end of the day would reflect a higher percent of increase than you're sharing with us here tonight.
We would have liked it. The real estate total did go up $7 million. Again, it was just that it is, and once in a while, you, like in motor vehicle, 280 less cars were registered in Vernon during the year. We'll see that happen in motor vehicle. We had some good, motor vehicle has gone up quite a bit for the town in the last 2 or 3 years. And once in a while, you're going to see it's elastic. It's going to drop and then it may move up again. But again, those are the two parts of the grand list. The other two parts besides real estate that just made those reductions. So we did have the real estate bump, but that's where we are.
Through the chair, if I may. I believe a few years ago, CLMP made a multi-million-dollar investment in the substation down on Maple Street. They haven't made any such investments to their other stations in town. I'm guessing, if your guess is that Manchester had some type of significant upgrade to one of the facilities in there. CLMP, imagine, has some schedule for upgrades. Our time came before Manchester's.
Mr. Kemp.
Separate question, smoothing aside, for this past standalone investment year, what would you say our general investment results were in terms of percentage?
For the last year we just ended, we're still, actually, we haven't got that report yet. We're still working on it, but I'm just going by what that I know separate from those funds and making a comparison, because the last quarter was about a 1% increase. So we're looking at, I believe, when we blend them all together in the bonded fund, I'm thinking we're going to hit the assumption and we're going to be somewhere. I'm talking about performance this year, and we're going to be probably around 8.5 to 9%. And I may be conservative, but I hope that hopefully that's where we're at. So we'll at least hit the assumption, and then what will happen is the calculation will then come in to reduce it from that smoothing from the past. So I think that's where we'll be.
Are there any significant bonded debts that are being retired in the next fiscal year or in the past recent history?
Through the chair, we had a refunding issue, and we did refund $35 million issue last year. So we refunded bonds from 2007, 8, and partially some in 2009. That then leveled our debt. The significant drops that we start to see will be about 4.5 years from now when the waste treatment plant drops off. Of course, they're talking about building a new waste treatment plant. So right now, there's not a significant drop that's happening right now. We do see a reduction in our debt service though for next year hopefully by around $200,000.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ludicky. Mr. Bull, if I may, there was a question on the board's contribution, to the Internal Service Fund, which does fund the Vernon Data Processing Center, which is the center that funds the entire network for the entire town. And the mayor is the chair of the Technology Council, and so I had asked him if he would share some information on that. There was a question as to what is contained in that fund. So,
thank you,
Mayor,
Dr. Conway, Chairman Houle. First of all, we've been sharpening our pencils, been working away very madly. The estimate that was in your budget of $900,000 we thought was an appropriate number at that time. I think we just about finished and solidified the center's budget. So your share will be $810,657. Which seems like a very big increase. But there's a few things that happen, and I don't think the increase is as drastic as you look at when you look just at that number. Presently, I think you budgeted for this year $340,000. As a result of bringing the two data processing together in the second or third quarter of this budget of this year, 3 employees were transferred over to the town, and all the data processing people are now under the town. And those 3 people's salaries and benefit are equal to $300,000. Taking that into account, it says that in 12-13, you would have spent $340,000 for data processing and also $300,000 for 3 people that were on your payroll for a total of $640,000. So in reality, the increase going to 13-14 is $170,657. Now, what do you get for that? Presently, the data processing people are working on 36 projects. 16 are Board of Education projects, 13 are town, are Vernon, and 7 are joint. Quickly going through what is being done for the Board of Education, there's a lot of intense efforts going on to back up the school, the end servers, because they haven't been. Then we have to go in and back up the school's physical servers. They haven't been. We're installing quite a few switches at all the schools. In the budget that for 13-14, the fiber will be run to Northeast schools, Skinner Road School, Lake Street School, so that all of your elementary schools as well as your middle school and your high school will be on the fiber. That is not a small expense. Ballpark number for the cable alone is about $250,000. Then there's a series of switches that have to be incorporated in. We have close to a $330,000 total bill for switches. Some of those in conjunction with the connectivity of getting the fiber up, and also there's been a request for replacing a lot of the switches that are in your closets. So looking at connectivity and switches, there's well over $500,000 involved. If we look at the staff has now a director that has 1 senior systems analyst. We have 5 systems analysts. We have 2 help desk full-time coordinators and a secretary help desk person. Presently, we're getting a new piece of software to really track what's happening help desk-wise, but looking over what's been going on, if you take the director out and the secretary out, that's 8 people that we have available, and historically, we're using 5 people for servicing the Board of Education from help desk. The one thing that we have to do that's in this budget is the new hardware. We put in a new hardware that's worth well over $600,000. we made a conscious decision when we did that and wrote the specifications, is that we've gone into a lease, operational lease basis, 4-year lease. And the reason for that is that 4 years is probably close to the maximum time you want to be running this network with that type of equipment. And it made sense to lease, saying that to keep our system, our network system, up to the level that we have now accomplished, it makes sense to every 4 years go out and lease new equipment. That bill is $166,000 a year. Okay. Incorporated also in there is the time and attendance, okay, which is about $40,000 a year. The total bill for wages and benefits is about $800,000. Now, if I go through, and there's a lot of other small stuff that goes in, the budget that we're dividing in half is just a little bit over $1.6 million. Mr. Lemoy made a comment, and we have now gone to several meetings, Mr. Sigan, and we are the envy of a lot of towns. We're probably in the top 10 for a network for a town our size. It is a very powerful network, and we made a big investment in it. If I look at, is this the budget that's going to be forever? Well, when we get the fiber in, we get the switches in, that will reduce quite a bit of the cost that you're seeing in this particular year. The question becomes, well, why are you doing so much in 13-14? The Tech Council, along with our IT department, says we have a very, very tight window, and we're going to be scrambling like mad to get all that fiber up. So the school system can, at every school, be taking their test on the fiber network. And that gives us, okay, and I don't think it makes sense to say that we're going to do this and we're going to have all the schools up by March 1st of 2014, so you people can start testing on March 15th, 2014. That isn't doable. So there's a lot of manpower being done on this fiber optics, and it's eating up an awful lot of the effort. Our goal is to try to have this set up so it's in the October time period, November time period, in 2014, so that come your testing period in 2015, you'll have available in the school for close to 6 months, being able to get out there on the fiber and be able to use these computers for testing, and the fiber's there. There's a lot of efforts been going on. We're seeing is that the school wants to use more and more of technology. Well, one of the big things is we don't have the bandwidth. Okay. What do you get from the data processing center? Our director has been investigating it. I think right now you have a bandwidth problem at the high school. There's some work going on to contract with Comcast to kick that up to 100 megs, I think. We're doing some research, and I think it's about a $37,000 bill. We're still having that set up because of the lead time. We don't want to jeopardize, because you need at least 100 megs. But we found out through the network is that the school can get a 200 or 300 meg access at no cost. So this is another thing you get from the data processing. We're looking for every place that we can save, okay? The commitment is there, recognizing that bandwidth is important.